my top 10 in Division 1 FBS football. To me, it's obvious on the top three: Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama. But things get messy. Alabama dropped 2 spots because of that barely win yesterday against Texas. Number 4 remains to be unchanged for me. Michigan 4, Clemson 5, Oklahoma State 6. Oklahoma 6, Oklahoma State 7. I hate to overhype USC because they were a 4-8 team last year, and I put them at number 8. Arkansas 9, Kentucky at number 10. Both of them have ranked wins, so it makes sense. Michigan, that's my top 10, but if I had to extend it out, I would put Michigan State at number 11 and BYU number 12. Miami, Florida at number 13 or 14. Same thing goes for Baylor. And to me, Baylor does not need to be any lower than 16 or 17. They don't. And it's a loss to a top 25 team, yes, in double overtime. So I felt the need to put them still in the top 15. Then Utah number 15, obviously. Tennessee at 16 because of their win over Pitt. You can't really, but you could make the case they could be above Utah because 2-0 is better than 1-1. But I don't want to overhype Tennessee either. And NC State number 17 because it's still week 1. This game is just like crazy to me. As for there's not many top 25 matchups this week. There's not. Miami, Florida at Texas A&M. That's number 13 Miami, Florida versus number 24 Texas A&M. And I want to go over their rankings real fast. On the AP, Georgia 1. Alabama's still at number 2? Really? Ohio State 3. Michigan 4. Clemson 5. Oklahoma 6. USC 7. Oklahoma State 8. Kentucky 9. Arkansas 10. Makes sense to me. Michigan State 11. BYU 12. 13 Miami. Utah 14. Tennessee 15. NC State 16. 17 is Baylor. Florida 18. They deserved to drop after they lost their game. They lost to Kentucky, Wake Forest 19. Ole Miss 20. Texas is in the top 25 on the AP poll at 21. I don't think they deserve to be ranked. 1-1 is still 1-1. I would honestly put Marshall in over them, but it's media on the rankings, Penn State number 22, which makes sense. Pitt deserves to be number 23. Texas A&M deserve to drop a long way to 24. And Oregon 25. I would honestly take out a Texas and put Marshall in. They have a win over a top 10 team. They deserved that number 25 spot to me. But that's just to me. I just think it's a little overreaction after yesterday. A little bit overreaction. Now, as for the top 25 games, BYU at Oregon. Ooh. BYU is not favoring this game. Oregon's by 3.5. Oregon looked bad in week 1 against Georgia. But that's Georgia. So, I don't know what to expect in this game, and I get that's on the road, but I would favor BYU in that game based on what I saw last night / this morning, to be honest. But I wouldn't be shocked if Oregon wins. It's different than playing at home against somebody. Then Miami, Florida at number 24 Texas A&M. Either way, I wouldn't mind the result. One, I don't like Texas A&M. They're rivals. But at the same time, A&M could do me a favor and beat Miami, Florida. So Baylor could move up in the polls because they should beat Texas State, and they're favored by 33.5. So A&M's favored by 6.5, but the thing is, they were favored last game against App State and they lost. So who do I think is going to win? I think both of these teams were a little more overhyped, but I think somehow Texas A&M bounces back to win by a field goal. As for the college game day at Troy at Appalachian State, I'm taking Appalachian State. They're favored by 13, but they better watch out for an emotional letdown. I mean, that's my deal. Other games included, like for top 25 teams, are Baylor versus Texas State. That should be a win. Georgia versus at South Carolina. Ooh, Georgia is favored by 25.5. But I'm still taking Georgia, though they better watch out. That's a trap game. Michigan versus Connecticut, UConn. Michigan, easy. Oklahoma versus Nebraska. I meant at Nebraska. Oklahoma's favored by 16. Nebraska got rid of their head coach. Oklahoma has no excuse not to win that game. So, Oklahoma. Kentucky at Youngstown State. Kentucky. And yes, I know Youngstown State is 2-0 also, but no way they should lose that game. Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. Ole Miss is favored by 16. I'm taking Ole Miss. Penn State. Number 22, Penn State at Auburn. Penn State's only favored by 2.5. I have a hunch that Auburn's going to pull off the upset. They get revenge over last year's game. And they need a win for their head coach. And both these teams need a win for their head coach. Because Penn State needs to get back to 9 wins or 10 wins, or instead of being 7-5. I mean, obviously, Alabama versus UL Monroe, Alabama. Wake Forest versus Liberty, and Liberty's without Charlie Brewer, remember. And Wake Forest is favored by 16. I'm taking Wake Forest to win that game. Arkansas versus Missouri State, Arkansas. Oklahoma State versus Arkansas Pine Bluff, obviously Oklahoma State. Ohio State versus Toledo, Ohio State. Tennessee versus Akron, Tennessee. NC State versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech could be having a letdown game in that one. And NC State's only favored by 8. But I just think NC State is a better team. They should win. And that's when I think Texas Tech is going to fall off the cliff a little bit, because their schedule gets harder from there. Michigan State at Washington State. At Washington. This is a trap game all over it. And this is my pick and my opinion, but I think another top 25 team falls. Michigan State loses. Though you never know. Florida number 18 Florida versus USF. I'm taking Florida. Sorry Gary Bohannon. It's not going to work. Pitt number 23 Pitt versus at Western Michigan. Pitt got beat by them last year, but Western Michigan's not as good either. Pitt's going to have a little step it up from last game. And they could be without Kane Slovis in this game. I don't know. But I'm still taking Pitt to win. Though it's a trap. It's not a trap, but because they lost so much from last year. Clemson versus Louisiana Tech. Obvious. Clemson. It's a matter of, can they be better? They need to continue to be better on offense, no matter who it is, in the offense line as well. Texas is favored by 13 versus UTSA. I know it sounds nuts, but I think somehow that UTSA finds a way to stun Texas and Austin. But I'm not going to be shocked if Texas wins. I'm just thinking Alabama hangover potential. And that's a trap. That's a trap game. And they're going to be without Quinn Ewers, too. So that makes a little more sense. And UTSA is no pushover team. They almost beat Houston. I mean, it's the truth. San Diego State at number 14, Utah. Utah should win. Get revenge from last year. USC versus Fresno State. Fresno State's no pushover, but I'm taking USC to win. So that's all top 25 games out, and the college game day pick as well. And of course, that's just my opinion, and everybody has the freedom of speech and their right to hold their own opinion. So, and the thing is, who knows what's going to happen? Because, last week was crazy. This could be crazy too. It's not as many intriguing top 25 matchups, I know. But, and I'm already picking Baylor over Texas State anyway. Don't get me wrong on that. They should bounce back easy. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later. It's coming to 400 subscribers more by the end of this year.